Wells Fargo, one of the world's biggest banks, has just been caught red-handed in a very elaborate scheme to defraud their own customers. So just recently, about 5,300 of their employees have been fired for opening unauthorized bank accounts and cards. Now, how many accounts did they open?
Now, there's a couple of different figures. Fortune says 2 million. Now, there was another source that said 1.5 million. We'll go with the lower figure just to be, just you know what I'm saying? Just to be, easy on the story. But that's a lot. Even 1.5 million different accounts. And this was to meet certain company goals.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they had incentivized opening accounts for these employees. They
get bonuses.
They would get bonuses for it. Yeah.
And the person who was in charge of the, the division or department who was over these people, they get a bonus too.
Yeah. So her name is Carrie Tolstedt, and she had been with the bank for 27 years, right? Mm-hmm. But just coincidentally now, she seems to have retired.
And
just coincidentally.
And I think a company spokesperson said that it was personal reasons. It had nothing to do with this, what they called a financial crisis.
Right. Had nothing to do with that. No, she had been with the company so long, and she just decided it was time to retire. There was no connection. No. And the CEO of Wells Fargo, right? He said Tolstedt had been one of the bank's most important leaders and, quote, a standard bearer of our culture, and another quote, a champion for our customers. Now, this was the woman, look at your face. This was the woman that spearheaded this fraud. This only happened in her unit, right?
All 5,300 of the employees that were known to have done this and were fired later were under her. This wasn't like little random dots all over the place, employees figuring out a way they can
So it's not it's not like company wide. There were one here, and they just came to this revelation that snap.
Yeah,
I can do this and get paid. Let's do that. No, 5,300 employees in one unit under the advisement of one person of the same person.
That hasn't officially been established yet. They haven't admitted that it was her who kind of led this. But come on, this many employees don't just unilaterally do this.
5,300. Come on. So as a result of this, Wells Fargo is being fined. And they're being fined, I believe it's $185 million.
Which is the largest penalty imposed by the CFPB.
That's right. And who's going to have to pay? Who's going to have to pay for this fine? Who's going to have to pay?
The shareholders are going to have to foot this bill.
The shareholders.
But guess what? When she retired, she was allowed to keep her options, her stocks, and her shares.
Oh.
She's allowed to keep her shares.
So she's not gonna have to pay any of this money back. She left with about it's like a severance kind of package or something like that of 125 million.
124.6.
Right, 124.
Just to be specific.
Yeah, I just rounded up. But yeah, she's not gonna have to pay any of this back. None of it.
So when you essentially you're the division you're over, the area you're over at the bank is proven to have defrauded millions of people.
Right.
You get to leave with $124.6 million golden parachute. Is that?
Yeah.
That's
white collar crime right there. Right. That's white collar crime. Now think about it. We were discussing this earlier. Think about if I had stolen one check. If I stole one check and got caught from it, right? Now, if I got a squeaky clean record.
Squeaky Queen. That sounds like a new nickname for Hillary Clinton.
But if I got nothing on my record, right? Perfect. I've never been in trouble with the law. There's a good chance that I might get off with probation. There's a good chance. Now, there were 5,300 employees, right? So average that out. Like, I mean, there was like we'll take the low end.
We'll take the low end.
Yeah, 1.5 million accounts.
I think we got it. It was like 280 something, 283.
Yeah. So the average employee of this 5,300 bunch opened
283 accounts. Like, if I mugged 283 people,
what they gonna do to you?
What they gonna do to me? They gonna throw me under the jail.
They will give you consecutive sentences.
Exactly.
Not concurrent.
Exactly.
Consecutive.
But they just got fired.
Now,
here's my thing. At retail jobs, if you actually steal from the company,
right,
they don't just fire you.
Right.
They actually get law enforcement involved, especially if it's over a certain amount. And you actually might get some charges. These financial institutions go through audits. You mean to tell me when they saw that increase in 1.5 and then another figure, 2 million, whatever, but we'll just, like I said, use the low end. You mean to tell me they didn't, like, no red flags went up? No, they just looked the other way.
This had been going on since at least 2011. Since at least 2011.
And they didn't see this? They didn't see this? Come on.
I'm just look. Where the handcuffs? Where the handcuffs? Where the batons at? Where the billy clubs, though?
Oh yeah. Where the billy clubs?
You know,
white collar crime, man.
Somebody should be. Somebody needs to be charged. Because this was fraud.
This is criminal.
Yes. If I steal your social security number and open an account, because that's exactly what they did. They stole their information, opened up accounts. If I did the exact same thing, I definitely am going to get charged.
Yeah, simply because it happened, like they were using their work to do it,
right,
doesn't make it a crime.
No.
It does. If I do something illegal at my job,
right. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It's still a crime.
Yeah, if you smash some old lady across the face with your tablet, then. But you at work though.
What if I'm driving my taxi and
it doesn't matter. Somebody? If you at work, yeah, they may fire you too. But if you do something that's actually against the law, law enforcement can step in.
Yeah. So why isn't law enforcement stepping in and arresting these 5,300 employees and Miss Carrie
I was about to say,
Tolstedt?
Add her in there too.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
They just getting away with it.
Yep.
But Muggs over here getting choked out and dying for selling loose cigarettes on the street.
Right. CDs.